Hey everybody, Rob Hoke here. I want to do a video for you guys today on setting up your bait casting reels. The biggest turnoff for people when it comes to making the switch to bait casting reels is obviously backlashing. And I've touched on this in a video I've done before, that if there was a time for you to start trying a bait caster, now's the best time. With the advancements in the advancements in technology in the fishing industry, the anti-backlashing devices, the braking systems in these reels are so much better nowadays that when tuned correctly, really cuts down, I mean almost eliminates your backlashes. So I'll get into it. There's really two main styles of braking systems in these reels, and it's the centrifugal brake system and the magnet brake system. And some of your reels, some of your better reels will have one, two, or both. Some have just the magnet, some have just the centrifugal, some have both, and I'll talk to you about setting up how to set up both styles. But there's also a third piece of your reel that also plays a big part in preventing backlashes, and that's your tension knob. So we'll get into these. I'll talk to you about all the different styles and how to set them up so that you can get started. So first we're going to start with the Revo SX. This is your tension knob right here. It's always going to be on your reel handle side, okay? Now, this is just a magnet style, okay? Now I'll open up the side plate and you'll see there's your magnets right there. Okay, that's all we have. And that's what this dial on the outside is going to control. Now, the way this works is if you spin the dial, the more you spin it to max, it's going to move those magnets closer to the spool. You move it to minimum, it's going to pull those magnets farther away. So the closer it is, the more effect it's going to have on the spool. The further away, the less effect it's going to have on the spool. Now, the way for beginners, this is the way you should set this up. Now, what I like to do, I just have a little live target hollow-bodied sunfish on there right now. Now what I like to do, I'm going to move away from the camera, is I like to have my bait up in the air, and I want to tighten the tension knob down, okay? So that that frog doesn't move when I have the button open. I press the button, my spool's open, and that frog's not moving. Now what I want to do is I want to loosen that spool until that frog falls half speed, okay? Button's open. That's a lot slower than half speed. So I'm going to loosen it up a little more. A little less than that's a little more than half, or a little less than half speed. So I'll just keep doing it a little more until that's about half speed. Now when you're beginning, when you're new to this, half speed is where you want to start. And what I like to do is turn your magnets all the way up to max and come back 4 clicks. That's just where I like to start, and then I'll make a couple short casts, and if it feels a little loose, I'm getting small backlashes, then I'll move it up a click, cast again, and you really need to make sure you're not trying to overcast these baits. It should be all wrist. I mean, your elbow doesn't even need to leave its side. It's not like a spinning reel where you're throwing that bait. My elbow rarely leaves my side, and it's just wrist and arm. So about half speed on the fall is what you should try for beginners. 4 clicks back from max, and make your fine-tune adjustments as needed. But that's the magnet style. Next I'll get into, now this is the Revo S. I just have a little swim jig on here. This is the Revo S. As you can see, there's no dial here. There's nothing to click. And the reason for that is, when I open up this side plate, you'll see this is There's no magnets. This is just a centrifugal brake system. Okay? Now, you see that there's these orange pins that go in and out, right? Now, this reel has 6 of them. Now, what this is this is how you adjust the level of your brake, okay? Now, as a beginner, I would suggest 3 or 4 pins out. When the pins are in and locked in place towards the center, they're not active. When you pop these out, you can hear a little click. That activated that braking system. So when you open these, you want to go, if I open this one, I'm going to open this one next, the one right across from it. So starting off, you can either do 3 or 4. I would probably start with 4. And then as you get better, you can put pins away as need be, or if you're flipping, maybe you only want 2 pins active, or if you're throwing really light baits, you want more pins active. So I would say start with 3 or 4. Same thing as the frog. Adjust your tension knob. Remember, half speed, so I'll show you that. We have the swim jig here. This is only a 1/4 ounce swim jig, so it's a little lighter. So I'm going to tighten that knob to where it's not moving. Then I'm going to start loosening it until it falls about half speed. That was a little less, so I'll do it a little more. So that's about half speed. So now my tension knob's set up, my centrifugal brake is set up, and I'll make some small casts, making sure, and if it's loose, maybe I'll add a pin. If it's not backlashing and it seems like I'm not getting any distance and it's kind of too tight, maybe I'll put a pin away. But that's pretty much it. That's the centrifugal system. And then obviously, this is my Revo rocket. This is a more expensive reel. It's got your tension knob still on that side. You have your magnet dial, and then you also, let me get the side plate off. You also have your centrifugal system. Right now I have 2 pins out because I'm going to be flipping. This is my flipping reel. So now this gives you the most customization. Same thing. You want to get your bait falling at half speed. For the beginners, it's half speed. You can obviously, the more experience you get, the more you're going to be able to handle. And it really doesn't take long to get comfortable with these things, as long as you're not trying to overcast. Now, same thing. Tighten your magnets all the way down. 4 or 5 clicks, and then if like flipping baits, I just like 2 pins in. I would still start with 3 or 4, and then as you get more comfortable, then go down to 3, 2, and then I know people who flip with 1, and I'm sure there's people out there who free spool. I'm just not that skilled, I guess. But 2 works pretty good for me flipping. But that's pretty much it. That's for most of you, those are the 3 styles you're going to encounter. And remember, if you have once you have this reel set up, now if I change a bait to a heavier bait or a lighter bait, I need to redo that process, because now the brake system is going to be thrown all out of whack, because now I have a different size bait, a different weight bait on that reel, so you're going to have to readjust it. That's a huge tip when it comes to throwing bait casters. I've seen a lot of people who they have it all tuned right, they're casting, and then all of a sudden they go from a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait to a half ounce chatterbait. They make a cast, and first cast they backlash, and then, oh, I didn't adjust the reel. I mean, I've done it. I'm sure a lot of us out there who do throw bait casters have done it. But definitely get into the habit of, I change the bait, I readjust my reel, and then you go about fishing. Because guys, there's huge advantages when it comes to fishing with bait casters. There's a time and a place for spinning reels, obviously, and but bait casters are definitely give you an advantage with a whole bunch of different techniques. So definitely give them a shot. Just make sure you're adjusting them right, and you'll be good to go. If anyone has any questions, put them in the comments section. Ask me on Facebook. But hope it helps, guys. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.